Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, addicts of all ages, welcome to Canadian Sobriety. I'm your host and resident alcoholic, Dougie Fresh. So glad you are here with us today because I have one of my favorite people in recovery. I have been wanting to get this Southern Belle on television, on a podcast, on screen, anywhere for quite a while. This girl introduced me to a lot of people who have a very special place in my heart today, and I have not seen her or heard her voice in a very long time. And I called her today, and we had a lovely conversation. And she is here with all of us tonight. Please give a big Canadian Sobriety welcome to Daphne, however she prefers. How you doing today?
Hey, Doug, I am great. How are you, my friend?
I am doing fantastic. I'm so blessed you're here today. Please share with the world, share with whoever is going to be watching this, share with the people at home eating their popcorn who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience, strength, and hope, please.
Okay, well, first off, thank you for giving me a chance to partake in my recovery today. I am Daphne. I am a grateful, recovering alcoholic. So, a little bit of backstory. And for those of you who do not know me, I get sidetracked very easily. So I have some little clip notes to keep me hopefully on track. So I am originally from Alabama. I had my biological father. I never knew him. He was an alcoholic and he died at age 54. I am like 1 month away from turning 52, which is extremely terrifying knowing that he died at such an early age. I was adopted by my mom's husband when I was 5. He would drink here and there. It was, alcohol just was not a big thing in our lives. My mom, she would drink a little, only like when I would push her when I was in active addiction. Other than that, she's never smoked, never really drank, would never pick up a drug. So, you kind of wonder, is it hereditary? I've done so many studies over the years since I've gotten sober in 6.5 years. I have a biological father that's an alcoholic. I was never around him. I have a 27-year-old addict alcoholic child. So, I at the end of the day, I can't say which came first, the chicken or the egg, but I know that this is real and it got me good. So, let's see. When I was little, I would drink like my grandfather's Miller ponies, and I thought I was something special, getting a little, I don't know if anybody, I'm showing my age, like they were this big, and he used to like sneak me little drinks, and that was my very first taste of alcohol, and I'm surely not blaming it on my grandfather. But I just liked it, but I was such a little girl. So fast forward, into high school and college. I smoked weed, I tripped on acid, anything that was offered to me, I would take it. I never was one that sought it out. I hung out with people that had it, so that's a lie. I guess I did, but I never gave money for it. So I always had the good friends that had all of that stuff. So, and again, it's just something that I did in high school and college, like a normal person. But I did not know what was lying underneath that. And so let's see, I got married at age 20. I got pregnant when I was 21. And the day that I found out I was pregnant, I quit smoking. And at that time, I didn't drink a whole lot, but I quit drinking. So fast forward again, I would say my son was in first grade. Long story short, because I like to talk, I started drinking a glass of wine at night to help me sleep. I still to this day have insomnia, and he's 31. So the alcohol did not help, but I loved it. And so, a couple of glasses over time became a bottle a night. Then one bottle turned into 2. And so I held out on about 2.5 bottles for a few years. So then fast forward again, I moved to the beach, and there's not a lot to do at the beach but drink. At least it wasn't for me. At least I always can find those friends, you know. I'm so great at finding those people. Birds of a feather flock together, you know. So I was homeschooling my kids at the time. So I was a present mom most of the day. Then, but I would get through with school really fast. I'm like, oh, we can't wait till tomorrow. Like, we got lunch to go drink, you know. So it started moving into lunchtime. So fast forward, it goes from lunch to breakfast or brunch. And then I was always looking for, you know, any excuse to get out and drink. But the thing is my friends drank differently than me. Like, they knew when to stop. They didn't get in the car when they were like so intoxicated like I would. But I never, ever, ever wanted the party to end. So the brunch went on for a little bit longer. And it was my son's senior year, and I always reference him because I can go with the time easier. It was his senior year of high school, and I had been out drinking the night before, which again, I would start around 11 and finish when I passed out. Or I went to sleep rather, but I really passed out. But I always called it going to sleep. And I was a blackout drinker, which I did not even know what a blackout drinker was. I just thought I had a really bad memory. And I swear to God, I'm not kidding you. It was until I was in treatment and they said something about blackout. I was like, what is that? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And then I was like, holy crap. Like, that is what I have experienced for about a decade. Never knew it. I always blamed it on my memory. My husband was like, yeah, I don't know about that. But I was sticking to it because I really, truly thought that's what it was. So one day, his senior year, I woke up. And I'm sorry, he didn't do anything. I woke up, had a hangover, and I was like, okay, I don't know what this hair of the dog thing is, but I'm gonna try it. So everyone was still asleep. I went into the laundry room and was doing laundry, and I snuck out the back, went to our outside fridge because I never wanted my kids, I never had alcohol in the house, never. And so I would keep it all in the outside fridge. So I went out there and got one of my husband's Coronas, went back into the laundry room, shut the door, and was chugging it. And I was like, this might work. So I went and grabbed another one. Felt great. But what I really felt was a bit of that buzz coming back. And I was like, I like this. So it was for about the next, I'd say 9 years, I drank every morning. And towards the end, it got to where I was having coffee with my husband. He thought I was having coffee, but in my coffee cup was vodka. And I was always the one like, let me go get us a refill. Let me go get some more. And he had asked me to get help over the years. And I was like, I've got this. Like, I've got it. But the thing was, is I did not have it. And he traveled a lot for work. And therefore, he didn't know. He knew it was bad, but he did not know that I was drinking in the morning. And I would go, like, when he was out of town, I would go days. I would like not even want to talk to him. I would like text him because I knew if he heard my voice that he would know that I was drunk. And that's when I would really go off the rails, was when he would go out of town. So let's see. The old saying, wherever you are, there you are. So I moved to Texas after thinking that if I left the beach, it might be better for me. Well, I moved to Texas. I joined a gym that served alcohol. And I was like, well, hell yeah, I'm at home now. So I enjoyed that for 3 months. I decided to go to Costco one day. I get popped with a DUI. That was the first one that I'd ever gotten in my life. First time I've ever been arrested. And it is nothing but by the grace of God. I have no idea how I never got one, much less hurt somebody. And I will tell you, had I ever harmed somebody, I would have totally taken my life because I could not have lived with that. So once I got the DUI, I was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to get my alcohol now? Because I can't drive because I'm always drinking. Like, I would from the time my eyes opened to the time I fell asleep, I was intoxicated. I would even wake up in the middle of the night to drink, to go back to sleep. So I started ordering in alcohol. I was having it delivered. And one morning, my husband said, like, who's here? And I'm like, oh, it's Whole Foods bringing our groceries. I would always, they weren't bringing groceries. I didn't have to say what all was in there. So I did a lot of lying by omission. I never, if I was asked boldface, to this day, I don't lie about anything. Like I just tell like it is because I have nothing to hide. And if I have to hide it, then I know I shouldn't be doing it. But I did definitely lie by omission. So I'm like, oh, it's just, it's my drinks, whatever. Anyway, I'm sorry, I know, gotta go. So I have it all delivered. And eventually I'm like, I gotta get out of the house. I can't keep doing this. So one day, after 3 months of having my DUI, I was still, I'd been celebrating Cinco de Mayo all this time. And guys, so I got my DUI because I've been drinking tequila straight. Anyway, I was like, okay, I drank everything in the house, which to my recollection was 3 bottles of wine, all of my husband's beer. I ate all the edibles that I could find. There was nothing left. And so I was like, well, this sucks. Like, what am I going to do now? Then it became a brownout. So I was here and there. I was missing a little bit, but I remembered a little bit. The next thing I know, I am in detox. So apparently I went and sat in his lap in his desk and was crying, begging for help. And I swore that I was ready this time. He called around, found a detox center. I was there for 6 days because my hallucinations were so bad. They told him it would probably be 2, possibly 3. Ended up being 6. While I was there, I found out they had a treatment center. So I was like, I want to go. So I went for 90 days. And while I was there, I learned a lot about myself. I learned about, just a lot. And I learned how to live. After 30 days, I was ready to blow that place. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. I got to go. I can't do this anymore. But that's when the work really started, was those next 60 days, because I would not have known how to live. So fast forward again, I get out of detox and I'm like, you know what? I've got to drink. I've got to do my recovery like I did my drinking, which for me was every moment that I was awake. So soon after that, I'm in every AA meeting that there is. I'm going to 3 and 4 a day. I'm doing every bit of the service work that I possibly could do because I did not want to go back to that day that I went away. Because when I left treatment, my husband let me know, and I did not know this, that had he not been there, I had his gun and it was going into my mouth. I did not know any of this until I got home. So therefore is why I bust my ass to stay sober every single day. COVID hits, I go back to school, all virtual, and I become a sober companion, recovery coach, trained in relapse prevention. And that's when I met you and started chairing all those meetings for, I think it was like 19 months that we had those going. And it's totally life-changing. And today I have a life that I never thought was possible. I never imagined waking up and not drinking. I never imagined going out to dinner and not ordering. I'm that person that used to look at people and going, oh my God, why are they drinking water? And now sometimes I'm like, I wonder if they have a problem. Why are they drinking alcohol? But my life today is like nothing that I could ever imagine. And I remember back in the day, my mom would say, wanting me to stop. She's like, just don't buy it. And then you won't drink. And I'm like, lady, you do not understand how this works. Like, it is not that easy. And so today is, I don't know how many days, but it's a little over 6.5 years. And the people that I have met, you in particular, like the connections that we made through all of our Zoom meetings and in the recovery on our journey is like nothing I could have ever imagined. I never wanted to have a sober friend. What the hell would I want a friend that didn't drink? And today I do not have one person other than maybe people that I'm related to that I talk to. Not that I'm judging them, but I don't hang out with anybody that's not out of the rooms. And my closest friends today, as we speak, are from Instagram and people like you. And I'm just so grateful. And I am so grateful that I got to see you and that I got to be here with you. But don't be scared. Be scared of staying the same. And that's it in a nutshell.
Thanks so much, Daph. I really appreciate that. You speak from the heart. I know it was a short time period to get all that in. Maybe when Rogers gives me my hour show, and Deanne can work on that. We'll get you back on and you can share a bit more. You mentioned something right at the end there that is so perfect, because I was thinking, I have some questions written down I wanted to ask you. And the last thing you basically mentioned was the first question I actually wanted to ask you. And it was, with social media and all of this stuff out there, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, what's the other one? Can't remember what the other one is.
Snapchat.
Yeah. Like, would you, seeing all this stuff, do you think it's like the Instagram influencers, do you think it's helpful or harmful?
Well, I think, well, in moderation. Let's go with that. That is one of the many things that was on my 10 pages of notes that I skipped over. I think if you use it the way that it is meant to be, but with people like us, it's very difficult because we are all or nothing. And for me, coming into it, getting into Instagram, recovering out loud, it was a great tool. However, I got to do it 100%, 110%. And it was kind of like a snowball. I relied on it and I was too involved. Like I had to post 3 times a day. I had to do this and I had to do that. And I'm chairing meetings and I'm going to meetings. And, I think it could be a tremendous tool. And I wish to God I had known. I don't know. I think everything happens for a reason. Because if I did know that there was a recovery side to Instagram, that I probably would have thought those people were crazy. And I can't say that it would have helped me, but for the sober curious, absolutely. And I've kind of stepped back because I've had a lot of health issues and a lot going on lately. And I haven't been on Instagram probably like 2 months, which I am going to get on there very soon. However, it just kind of started to consume me. And I did not want that to be my identity. But but it can be such a useful tool.
Mm-hmm.
All of those platforms, I personally think if it's used the right way. But I just dove head in and that's the way I do everything. It's like, I can't do one thing 100%. I'm doing 20 things like 2%. And I don't like that. And so I would say my suggestion would be totally get into it. Like, check it out. If anything, it's going to teach you not to drink. It's going to not want you to drink. It will ruin drinking for you. So if you're on the fence about it, I would say go for it, but in moderation. And again,
yeah, because
what is moderation?
Right. And like I believe it's a tremendous tool. I believe that, you go on there, you can connect with people, you can share stories, similar stories, things like that. People share a lot of positive stuff on there, but there's the odd one where I see somebody share something and I'm thinking to myself, it's really hard for me not to comment or not to say something, because I'm like I don't necessarily maybe agree with that, or them giving advice, and stuff like that. So it's really hard. I think it really is I think a tremendous tool to use, but I think it's somewhat dangerous in a sense of people giving out false information and things like that. What do you think?
I completely agree. And here I am with they're not degrees, they're certifications, but still, I did a lot of studying to get to those. I still, me personally, don't get on there and preach. Everything I talk about is my personal experience. And I put my mugshot up there. It is what it is. I am not embarrassed because you know what? I'd rather have a mugshot than a glamour shot. Not today, but you know what I'm saying? Like I can't forget where I came from. I cannot forget my last drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to mislead anybody. Everything that I say is my personal experience. And if you come to me for sober coaching, then we'll talk deeper. But as far as preaching goes, that is not me, because I have seen so much out there and I'm just like you. I'm like, nope, you just keep on scrolling. It's not your business. You stay the hell out of it. Just keep on going. and like, I'm starting to sweat. I swear to God, I'm like getting hot talking about it, because that it bothers me. It bothers me a lot, because and people are so excited that they, it's like they found God and they just got to tell the world, but it's got to be the truth. And what works for you doesn't work for me. What works for me doesn't work for them. But it's that foundation, and it's got to be, it's got to be black or white. You can't be
Yeah.
in that gray area trying to tell people stuff, because God forbid, I don't want to get somebody killed. I don't even know, like a little over a year ago, if you knew this, like I lost my little sister to fentanyl. She was 19.
Sorry to hear
And
that.
thank you. I appreciate that. But as a sister, I still didn't preach to her. You know what I mean? Like you come to me, I'm gonna help you, but I don't get on there to preach. And that's just not who I am. So I 100% agree with everything that you just said.
Yeah. Which I'm sorry to hear about your sister. Yeah, it's crazy up here in Canada. I'm just imagining what it's like all around the world. But it leads into my next question, which you kind of mentioned in that what you just said here was, what works for somebody might not work for somebody else. I shared something on Facebook and Instagram the other day, and it gathered a lot of attention and a lot of people questioning, stuff on there. And I had put in there that I wasn't judging anybody's recovery. I just wanted to know what the general consensus was, because I heard on one of our Canadian news programs, Breakfast Television, that the non-alcoholic industry is going to be pulling in around 45. I think they said $1 million. They're expected $45 million in 2025. To mocktail or not to mocktail? What is Daphne's answer?
Daphne does not. And let me tell you why. Because I don't pretend anything. If you see me with a glass of wine in my hand, you better run for the hills, because it's going to be alcohol. I do not pretend or fake anything. And that to me is a slippery slope. Uh, to each their own. Now, and you know what? I think, again, this is my opinion. If you are sober curious, say for instance, he doesn't even drink enough to even drink non-alcoholic. But my mind just went completely, just went blank. Jesus, where was I? Oh, hello, here I am. Okay, going back. If that is you, if you're sober curious, if you are not me or you, I think those are okay. But for my opinion, for the true alcoholic, I don't think it's a good idea. I do not think it's a good idea. It's not a good idea for Daphne. Maybe for Doug, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I don't want that association. I don't want anything that even remotely reminds me of that last day, or what I remember of that last day. And then hearing my husband fill in those gaps, I just can't go back there. And I'm not going to romanticize that drink. And I think for me, that's where it would take me. And if it works for someone else and it keeps them from drinking, then I applaud them. That is not for me. And I will not do it. Let me go back. I had my first mocktail about 4 months ago or 3 months ago. I did not order it. There was actually a friend of ours on Instagram that was in town. And when I got to the restaurant, she had ordered it. She's like, you just got to try it. It's so good. It wasn't on the menu. It's something that she told them to mix together. And I was like, just try it. It had been so over 6 years before I tried one thing.
Wow.
It was different because all I drink is water. I drink coffee.
Yeah.
And today there was actual coffee in my coffee cup. But that's it. That's all I drink. That's all I've drank for years. And but I did have it. But will I go out and order it? No. I won't.
Yeah.
And I don't want someone to look at me and say, oh my God, like, that might know me and they're like, she's drinking. I don't want that.
Yeah. My sponsor says if it smells like beer, tastes like beer, and looks like beer, don't put it in your hand. But that's not what I want to ask you this question here, because I know it's personal to your heart, and I want to finish off the program like this. I know I'm not going to mention who, because I don't know if you want them mentioned, but I'm going to say there's somebody close in your life you know, that I know over the course of, you know, stuff that you've worried about, but they've gathered some traction and they're sober today. You know, how blessed do you feel that is where it is today?
Oh my God. Oh man, you just have no idea. And I will tell them, it is my 27-year-old daughter. I am so grateful. She is an addict alcoholic. She had 2 DUIs by the time she was before her 21st birthday. I believe she's been to detox 3 times, 3 rehabs. Um, None of that worked. It doesn't work until you want it to work. And after her last automobile accident that landed her in the hospital, the last 2 vehicles she has totaled. One, when she was in the hospital, she has a metal plate in her arm now and a couple of screws. The last one, like God's hand was over that child. She flipped her car twice, landed upside down, walked away. Not even a broken fingernail. And I'm like, girl, you have more cats, more lives than a cat. And I don't know if there's going to be another chance. And this is the most peace that I've had with her. She's 27. She's about to be 28 next month. The most peace since she turned 15. Her
Wow.
first suicide attempt was at 15. So I've dealt with so much over the years. And underlying PTSD, I mean, I have PTSD. My husband has it. That's why my phone's off a lot. It's the rings, the dings. It just makes my heart stop when, like, literally it will skip a beat. It's still to this day, just because I'm waiting on that next phone call.
Yeah.
But praise
Yeah.
God, it's all good today. So thank you so
Good.
much for asking.
Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy you're happy, and maybe she'll be the next guest on Canadian Sober somewhere down the line.
And
You know, I'm so blessed that you were here today, Daph, to share your experience, strength, and hope with us. Peace and love to you and your family. Peace and love to you sitting at home watching. Please join us again next week for another amazing episode of Canadian Sober. Please come back and hope you enjoyed our Southern Belle today. Thanks, everybody. Good night.